Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Postgame Podcast. Hawks lose 5-3 to the Blues in St. Louis, but most importantly, the damn preseason's over.
Hooray!
Hooray! Let's advance to the regular season, which the Blackhawks will do on Tuesday in Pittsburgh. And, oh yeah, we're going to be there. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Yay.
So 5-3. Who scored for the Hawks? Well,
Three
it was interesting. Three guys fight. Well, one guy not fighting for a job, Lukas Reichel. But he scored on, and I'm going to say it, Colton Dach got screwed out of an assist. Just saying.
It doesn't matter in the end.
I know. Joey Anderson and Mackenzie Entwistle are the three that scored for the Hawks. Peter Mrazek picking up his second assist of the preseason.
How about that?
He's catching Connor Bedard.
Oh boy. I can't wait for the clickbait on that one.
His assist came with a goalie in the other net too. I can be an Arizona Coyotes tweeter too.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Christ.
Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it on this busy Saturday night. Make sure you smash that like button for us on the old YouTubes there and follow the YouTube page. Subscribe to the YouTube page. And if you're a podcaster, thank you for that. Make sure you are following or subscribed on your podcast app and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So there's a lot to get to in this game, and
Is there?
we kind of got into it to start the show, and we're going to talk about it on Hawks Hits today. So why don't we begin the conversation on the bubble players and where they sort of stand right now. So as we sort of viewed it coming into tonight's game, there's a number of guys fighting for the last roster spot or two. Joey Anderson, Mackenzie Entwistle, Reese Johnson, and Boris Katchouk, to a lesser extent, Colton Dach, who it seems is going to be sent down. And it's interesting. Joey Anderson, who had a really solid game, adds a goal. Mm-hmm. And how about our guy, Mackenzie Entwistle? Totally redeemed yourself.
Yeah. That's one way to make up for fumbling a 2-on-0, is to make a great power move and finish it at the front of the net and solidify your NHL roster spot.
Yeah, wins a puck at the Hawks' own blue line, takes it into the blue zone, stick handles around the Blues, tucks it backhand. Beautiful goal. Good to see his second goal of the preseason. I think I don't know if anything changed in your guys' minds after tonight. I think we all sort of had Entwistle as the guy we were favoring for myriad reasons, but
yeah.
I think tonight, he just kind of hammered that point home, I hope.
I think tonight, as far as being like the final audition, talked about it on the postgame, is like the final audition before the regular season for all these guys on the bubble. If in the eyes of Luke Richardson they were all even, I think Mackenzie Entwistle and Boris Katchouk took the last two spots on the roster, and I think, unfortunately for Reese Johnson, it's just that extra little bit of offensive touch that those two guys have, Entwistle and Katchouk. He just can't match it. And so I don't know. We'll see what the final final cuts reveal, but I think for me, Katchouk and Entwistle are on this team. And I think if it comes down to just one of those guys, I think it's got to be Entwistle.
We've got our stat cards, the blue lines for the show. The highest rated Hawk, Wyatt Kaiser.
He had a solid game. With
a game score of 2.04. That's great. That's a really high score. Mackenzie Entwistle, 1.28. Lukas Reichel, 1.18. I'm going down the line here looking for guys we're talking about here. Joey Anderson, a little bit lower, 0.49. And where is Katchouk? There he is, 0.13. The worst Blackhawks.
Yep.
I guess I know. I bet you I know two of them.
Go ahead. Shout it out.
Jared Tenorti, Nikita Zaitsev.
Absolutely correct.
In
Nikita
that order.
Zaitsev was the worst skater. Binnington
Ever.
and Mrazek were the bottom two guys. Zaitsev a minus 1.75.
I don't know what that number means, but I know it's not good.
Well, it's
Means he had a negative impact on the game.
Yes,
He sure
negative
did.
impact.
I don't need a fancy blue line to tell me that. I have eyeballs. I saw it.
Yeah,
was bad.
it's
Like,
you know,
yeah.
and I it kind of derails the conversation, but that's okay.
He's part of the conversation.
The point that I made during the game on Twitter was the reason you choose veteran over kid is because the thought is if you put the veteran in, he's going to make fewer mistakes. He's going to play a steadier game. He's going to not do things that cost you. He was an effing disaster tonight, Nikita Zaitsev. -4 for the preseason, in which he barely played.
Mm-hmm.
There are several chances in front of the net where he was just watching the Blues take second, third whacks at the puck. He was absolutely terrible. Terrible. And there's no way. And look, I have faith in Kyle Davidson and Luke Richardson that up to this point, they've always seemed to do the right thing roster-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you look at Isaac Phillips or Wyatt Kaiser or Kevin Korchinski or Alex Vlasic and say, you know what, it's just a numbers game. We got to send you down. There's no way. There's no way.
No way.
Zaitsev sucks. He sucks. There's nothing he brings to the team that should prevent anyone who has earned a job to make the team.
He's going to be 32 at the end of the month. He's had 444 NHL games. And you know what you have with him.
Yeah.
And you know you see the mistakes he's going to make. You know the mistakes he's going to make. I know I said it on social media during the game. I know the Blackhawks aren't contending for anything, but he is going to cost you games. And if you're looking to build culture with these young guys, give them experience being, in games, having games feel like they matter, not necessarily wins and losses, but feeling like you're in games, you can't have Zaitsev out there making the difference in a 1-goal game or a 2-goal game or a 3-goal. Being in a game where you're down 1 instead of being down 2 or 3 because Zaitsev's in the lineup because he's costing you things, it's not worth it. I'd rather have Isaac Phillips or Wyatt Kaiser or Kevin Korchinski or Nolan Allen or any of those young guys, even if they're playing their offside, would rather have them here making mistakes that you can teach out of them rather than a guy who if he's making these same mistakes, playing over 400 NHL games, what room is there for him to grow? There is none. He is who he is, one of the worst NHL defensemen playing in the league. And he makes a lot of money, and the salary cap isn't even the issue. It's on the ice.
Yeah, it's a player.
It's bad. And I can't defend playing him over playing a young kid. And if you send him to Rockford, that's almost worse.
Yeah.
Because you're using Rockford to develop guys like, let's say, Nolan Allen or Ethan Del Mastro or Louis Crevier. And if you were to send Zaitsev down, now he's taking minutes away in Rockford from those guys. There's no point in him being on this team. There's no point. You should have waived him when you could have. You're not going to trade him because of his contract.
Right.
And there's no reason he needs to be on this team. You should have waived him in the summer and just cut your losses when you could have.
I can see where they're coming from because you don't know what you have yet in the kids, right? Like, you haven't started training camp yet. You don't know how Kaiser's going to look. You don't know how Vlasic and all these guys are going to look. So you got to play it safe and keep them in case they come in and they're just not ready. But
I guess.
you knew at least 2 of them are going to be ready.
I'd rather have the mystery box than Nikita Zaitsev.
I know.
If the only reason you're keeping Nikita Zaitsev on this roster is because he's right-handed, then cut him.
Yeah.
I'm right-handed.
I am too.
I'll guarantee you I'll take less money than Nikita Zaitsev.
I can be a -4.
Sure. I can turn my back to the puck.
I won't even have to try to be a -4.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't know how, the New York Islanders should fire Lou Lamoriello because he's the one who signed. They should look and say, wait a minute, you gave Nikita Zaitsev a 7-year, $31 million contract? Because that's who signed him to this deal in the first place. The Islanders should retroactively fire Lou Lamoriello. I mean, I know Lou Lamoriello.
Just in case he does it again.
Is like he's heralded as one of the greatest executives in NHL history. Some of that is warranted, but when you look at that,
Yeah.
come on.
I think people are just afraid to speak poorly of him because he knows where the bodies are buried.
His is going to be buried sooner rather than later. Start talking shit about him.
Daryl Sutter knows where those are too, and the Flames moved on. So
Exactly. Like I don't get like he's one of these old school dinosaurs too, and like he wants the New York Islanders to be this neutral zone, boring, slow team. That doesn't win in the NHL today.
No.
I don't. Yeah, I came into training camp wanting to root for Nikita Zaitsev. I wanted him to be like, hey, he's serviceable. It's okay. He's not like so many people were like, he's the worst player in the NHL. I'm like, he can't be that bad. And then we looked up the analytics that kind of proved that he was
actually that bad. Yes.
And then after what I've seen in the
bad.
small sample sizes preseason, I think it's that bad, and it's not going to get better at this point. This isn't a season about winning games, but I'd rather have Wyatt Kaiser or Isaac Phillips making those mistakes out there because they're still correctable for those guys. Nikita Zaitsev, if he hasn't corrected these mistakes now, it ain't ever happening. So I'd rather have the young guys out there learning from making their mistakes and getting better as the season goes on.
Couple super chats here. $2 from Brandon says Weideman was great. Entwistle solid. Wave Zaitsev. Agree with all those. Thank you. And another $2 from Windy City Hockey says Zaitsev needs to be waived. He's a traffic cone. Now that is insulting to traffic cones.
Traffic cones
keep people safe.
Traffic cones usually do their job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Directing
Now and again,
traffic.
someone will trip on one. You know.
They were cones.
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, they can waive him, right? But the answer then is he has to go to Rockford.
Yeah. If you send him down, he'll get there. No one's going to take him off waivers. But like I said, he's taking time away from someone
they
that
just
you
sit him
want
there
in
too?
Rockford.
And you can sit him there, to the point where maybe he just
That's-
says, release me. I mean, piss him off to the point where he says, just terminate my contract.
Yeah.
Right. If it were to come to that, where if it was just like, hey, we're going to send you to Rockford and we're just not going to play you, he would probably say, well, then either trade me or cut me for, or terminate my contract so I can at least go play somewhere else.
Does anyone owe the Hawks F considerations? And just say, hey, take this guy on for us. Do what you want with him. We'll eat half the salary. We don't care.
I don't think so.
I just,
I mean, how did they even get Zaitsev? I forget.
From Toronto.
In
Or
what-
no, Ottawa.
No, Ottawa.
Ottawa, sorry. It was
What
Ottawa.
move?
It was was it a draft day move? Stand by.
can't remember.
I don't remember. I blocked
no,
Yeah,
it happened
I-
in season last year.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
They got multiple draft picks. They got a second round pick and a fourth round pick just for taking him on.
That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
That a team like Ottawa, who's still
They were
rebuild mode.
still figuring out their defense, said, we don't want you around here.
I mean, we'll give you a second and a fourth rounder. For
Yeah.
him. That's Nikita.
I don't know.
Zadorov. Wrong.
Like,
shit.
Well, Nikita.
Richardson.
Wrong bad Nikita.
Richardson spoke about Zaitsev earlier in camp, saying, he's a good veteran. He's a guy people respect in the room. Doesn't say a lot, but can be that presence on the team. Maybe he's just trying to, do right by a veteran and saying some of those things. But man, the eyes and the analytics say he's not worth sticking around.
If I'm not mistaken, that should have been the 44th pick,
Yeah.
which the Hawks used this like Roman Cancerov.
Well,
And he's been pretty good.
So far.
he's
he's
scored a goal.
Yeah,
In the KHL.
He's had a highlight reel assist and a breakaway goal in his last 2 games. So,
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah, defensively, I just think, there's enough guys that it's like you said, Jay. Like, I don't know how you go to Isaac Phillips and say, we don't think you fit in this NHL roster right now. I watch Isaac Phillips and I see, sure, is he a top pair defenseman? No. But is he an NHL? Can he play in the NHL? Absolutely. Like, I would much rather have a young, upside still there defenseman playing than a guy who's proven he's not worth it.
So somebody on Twitter, Thomas Hawk, just tweeted at me and said it's called tanking for more picks. We'll be able to dial back the wins with these fringe players rotating in to cause the right amount of chaos. Kyle Davidson won't mind another top 5 player, saying like Zaitsev's going to be here to help the tank. They're not tanking. You don't go trade for Corey Perry and Nick Foligno and Taylor Hall if you're tanking.
You're not tanking, and you can get the same result. You could get the same result from a young defenseman playing and a mistake-laden Zaitsev playing, but the young defenseman can say, "Oh, those are bad things to do. I can learn from that, and I still have the runway in my career and in my development where I can get rid of those bad habits. I can learn from those mistakes, and I can change it up." At this point, Zaitsev is who he is, and tank, whatever. I'm not considering this a tank, but man, it's just, I don't know. It hasn't really bothered me this much over the summer, but watching him in this preseason compared to watching where the young guys are in the preseason, it's like, what are we even doing? Look, if complaining about Nikita Zaitsev is the only thing that we can, really muster up complaints about right now, that's a good position to be in, because that means everything else is kind of up to snuff with what we're hoping for this team. But man, it was bad. It was bad tonight, and this was, a last preseason game before going into the regular season, and that's not the last game you want to have going into the regular season.
Yeah, if you're going to play Zaitsev this year, and it certainly appears it's going to happen, at least for some of the games, don't ever put him with Jared Tenorti again, please.
Yeah, that was rough.
If you're going to play Zaitsev, at least put him out there with a guy that can cover some ice for when he inevitably screws up. Put him out there with, one of the more mobile guys.
But then you're putting the young guys, the onus on him to make up for Zaitsev. That's a tough position to put the young guy in.
Agreed, but at least you have a guy that might actually be able to make up for it. Tenorti, we know what Tenorti is. Mm-hmm. Tenorti's not a guy out there that needs to be, making up ground because his partner is spinning around like water circling a drain.
Right.
So yeah, just don't play those guys together if you're going to have to play Zaitsev. I don't know what's the ultimate decision is, but I think
we might learn the cuts as early as tonight.
Maybe.
I've been refreshing. I'm looking.
When they didn't buy out Zaitsev in the summer, you knew they were just going to play him, and while the Blackhawks aren't tanking like they were last year, even they won't admit that, but we all know that what was going on. They're not exactly trying to make the playoffs either. So, the wins and losses don't really matter at the end. But you do want to, start building something. In the grand scheme of things, if Zaitsev is here and he plays 45 to 50 games, it's not the end of the world.
No,
but
I have to watch those 45 to 50 games.
We got to watch them. We got to watch them anyway. So.
If we see him in the lineup, we're just gonna not have a show.
Yeah, that'll get him
figure
off
it
the
out.
team. That'll get him off. Now he's playing all 82 games. Now.
Well, let's do an extra 10 minutes every show and build credit towards the hour. Mm-hmm. Boom.
There you go.
Exactly. That's how we're going to do it. I think that covers about as much Nikita Zaitsev as we need to talk about tonight.
That's kind of all
we all
that
agree?
Needs to be said.
We'll never speak of him again.
I doubt that. But,
Yeah, I don't want to say anything more too mean.
No, just as we, in the pregame show, we talk about how much we liked Mackenzie Entwistle as a kid. That doesn't mean he should make the team. And I have nothing personal against Nikita Zaitsev.
No.
He's just objectively bad.
Yeah.
If you watch him play hockey, he's not good at it.
You want to have less liabilities than more of them on the ice, and it's just he doesn't bring a net positive to the team.
No, not at all. Well, you know what brings a net positive? Streaming television, which I'm doing right now. And now I'm not taking my hat off person in the chat. That's not what a fan does. You live and die in the good moments and the bad moments.
You can pull a Matt Peck and just throw it.
I don't know who wants to see my hair without hat on. It's not good. It's real bad.
So are you forfeiting your opportunity to win the helmet?
I'll put the helmet. I could do it. I can do it in a
Throw the
sly
hat
way.
and put the helmet on.
Oh, maybe. I like this hat. This is the first time I've worn this hat. I just got this.
Nice.
The hat's fault.
That's an unlucky hat.
Are you peeking at the game on your Fubo TV?
I am watching Fubo TV on my lap. Yep.
Well, if you want 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news, check out our friends at Fubo TV. You can stream live from any device, like your laptop or your phone or your tablet. Watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Start streaming immediately with a free trial from Fubo. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge, and you can watch your local teams while traveling. You got the college football season in full swing, the Big Ten, your Notre Dame games. I know they're pretty much considered a Big Ten team around here. The NFL.
They are in hockey.
The Bears. We giving them another week or two.
Yeah.
The NFL Network is on Fubo. So is the Red Zone. That's your best way to avoid the Bears, is watching Red Zone.
They're never in there. Yep. Come on now, they were good.
And the NHL season is starting. You'll be able to watch all those games. The NBA is coming. College basketball is right around the corner too. So lots of exciting stuff to watch on your Fubo TV. Watch all your favorite college football and the NFL with Fubo. Go to www.FuboTV.com/CHGO and sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
And if you need some help getting through the Nikita Zaitsev experience, our friends at Sunnyside have just the thing you need. They are your home and my home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, where all kinds of visitors, both new and experienced. I'm doing it on the fly. Good stuff, Jay. Way to go. Are welcome to explore.
Sounds like you stopped at Sunnyside.
I might have hit the Sunnyside a little too early. Discover and purchase a wide array of high-quality cannabis products. They've got everything you need to elevate your football season. And no matter where you are on your cannabis journey, they're going to make you feel welcome. They're going to make you feel educated. They're going to make you feel very secure in your purchase. And when you have that purchase, you can take advantage of their loyalty program, Sunnyside Rewards. It is Illinois' favorite dispensary for many, many reasons. I tell you all the time about the counting sheep from the good news. Another bad night with the dog. I'm telling you, I'm slipping him one. But a little earlier today, feeling a little bit, I don't know, a little anxious. Maybe because I hadn't slept well or whatever. Took out that good news pen, the Frye, and just gave it one little puff and just felt tremendous. Really good stuff. Re-energized, confident again, really good stuff. But there's so many great brands there, including Cresco Floracal, which is born on the West Coast. Floracal Farms is committed to rigorous pheno hunting and small batch cultivation practices that yield only the best results. Flower is always hand-trimmed, the way you like it, and expertly cared for to ensure only the best flowers, vapes, gummies, and pre-rolls go to market. Now through October 15th, head to sunnyside.shop. Use that code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer, not stackable with other promotions. But that's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your football season. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois MedCard holder.
Got a couple things in the chat we should address before we move on. First of all, our guy Jim. One of our sales guys, Jim Cook, says he's going to sell a Zaitsev feature, so you have to talk about
good luck.
If you do that, if you get somebody to sponsor a Zaitsev feature, you are the salesman of the freaking century, and you're going to be like
quite the sell.
That's quite the sell. You've got the Blackhawks have a better chance of trading him than you do of finding something to do that. Yeah. And then. Speaking of our helmet, Paul says the loser should be the one that has to wear the little helmet. We've adjusted the helmet. We took out the foam padding. So it's definitely not as now fits us all comfortably.
Disinfected it.
It still looks ridiculous as all hell, but at least
it's a winner's helmet.
Not painful. Yes,
it's a winner's helmet.
It's the winner's helmet. We put some more stickers on it, and yes, the cameraman tonight was,
God. Can we take 10 seconds to talk about that?
Send that jabroni back to whatever minor league baseball team he came from.
It was so bad.
Zoom out. It's the one thing I said the most tonight while watching the game was zoom out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It was so bad.
It was obviously a freelance cameraman who had never done a hockey game in his life before.
Well, here's the thing, though. I've never filmed a hockey game either, but if I was going to, I would zoom out as opposed to zoom in because it's going to make it easier.
Right.
Like, I'll just go side to side knowing I can't, follow the puck.
It's...
God, I'd rather be far away than zoomed in.
It looked like a father of a specific player was there with his iPad just trying to follow his kid play.
Right.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was.
Like I'm sure it was like the D crew,
Right.
We just need people. It wasn't the normal crew that does the cameras down there in St. Louis, but that was... I literally couldn't watch most of the game because if I watched for more than like 15 seconds, I was getting nauseous.
It took me out of the game because I
so
was focusing more on like why is it zoomed in than why was the puck going where it was going.
There were parts of the game where, like, if the puck was on the near boards, the player at the board's head would be cut off, and more of the screen would be crowd than ice. It's like, dude,
it wasn't. I needed what's the medication you need to take if you're
Dramamine.
I needed that. Does the Sunny Side have any of those in stock? I
Probably.
could have used a few of those.
Maybe. Well, and it's not only the camera person. Like, if the camera person is doing something that is like, hey, that's not how you shoot hockey. The director is got to get in their ear and say, zoom out. Frame the shot. The shot's got to have a better frame. And so it's not only is it the camera person, it's the director not addressing it. I don't know.
Maybe it was an AI director.
It was rough. Yeah, maybe it was all AI.
It wasn't
blame
good.
them.
It was awful. It was very and I thought maybe it was just me. Like early on, like this seems weird. Like the broadcast looks weird.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like I was also struggling to see the Blues numbers a little bit because the color balance was off a little bit. But that happens. It is what it is. Filming against ice is difficult. But yeah, like once I saw
it was rough.
Yeah, not good.
It was rough. Anyways,
what was good today? Alex Vlasic.
Yeah, he had a good game.
You talk about we spent a lot of time talking about Kaiser and Korchinski and the guys who have made the flashy plays this preseason. Vlasic has just been so solid. He's just so, and that's what he was drafted to do. Right? He's got a little bit of offense. We saw him today taking some chances, pinching in a little bit, taking some shots. But, man, there's nothing about his game that concerns me. He looks NHL ready. And, yeah, there's going to be mistakes, of course. But I think of all those guys, you're going to get the flashes from Korchinski and Kaiser. But in terms of a guy, I would say if I'm going to handicap one of these young defensemen to play all 82, assuming health.
Right.
It's going to be Vlasic. He just looks like an NHL defenseman already.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he skates well. He's a big guy. He's got, a good size for the, playing defensively. He's had time paired with Seth Jones 2 seasons ago and in the preseason here. I don't think I've seen anything from him that says that he's not able to play every day in the NHL lineup, and he can move the puck well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had some power play time tonight, so that was good to see. I have no issues with him, no worries about him as he jumps into the NHL. Probably jumps in as a full-time player this year, where he's had little stints 2 years ago and last season. I think it's worth keeping him in until he proves to you on the ice that he can't be in or he needs a break. Play him, let him go, let him loose. I'm fine with giving him as many games as possible.
Yeah, he looked good out there. He's looked good all training camp, all preseason. He's got some confidence. He had 2 shots on goal and a third shot attempt tonight. He was second in total ice time among defensemen, both overall and even strength. Played almost 3 minutes of penalty kill tonight. He's doing it all out there. And for a kid of his size that skates as well as he does, it's impressive. Usually when you get those real big guys, they're very awkward skaters.
Yeah.
But he looks good. He's got good stride. And that reach is a freaking weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be able to poke check pucks from halfway down the ice. You know, he's got a lot of potential, and we're starting to see some of that on a nightly basis. I would love him to be here all season long. I don't think there's any question that he's making the team out of camp. Let him go. Let him play. Let him make. You know, he played a full season in Rockford last year when we all said at this exactly 1 year ago, we were all Vlasic's ready, ready. And then he spent pretty much the whole season in Rockford, and you could see what that's done for him. He looks even better than he did last year.
More confident.
Exactly. Maybe some of that has to do with what like Lukas Reichel told us the other day about the mental mindset of knowing you're on the team as opposed to getting called up, how much more comfortable that makes you on the ice, in the locker room, all that stuff. And, you know, especially for young guys, the mental part of everything is a major part of being a successful hockey player. You've got to win the battles between your ears as much as you win the battles on the ice, and some guys can and some guys can't. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Vlasic is definitely, able. He oozes confidence. You see it. You see it even in the locker room. You see that he's just more comfortable, and he's one of the guys now. He's not just, hey, the young kid that's here for a couple of games. He's one of the main guys.
Well, remember, we got to talk to him last year, and he talked about that rookie year, how he came in. He said this in his own words. He's kind of walking on eggshells, not really feeling himself, not really feeling he was not part of the team, but, kind of on an island as a young kid coming into an established team. Then last year happens, he's a little more comfortable, and now he comes in, I think, knowing that the expectation for him, I think for him to not start the year here, he would have had to have a disastrous preseason.
Yeah.
Because I think there's enough of a body of work from him in the NHL that says, we know what you can do, we see what you can do. And he just carried himself with the confidence this year. And, we're in the locker room after every practice, and we just can see the way these guys carry themselves. And I would say, compared to last year, there's no one in there that looks like a deer in headlights. Everybody looks comfortable. Everybody looks confident. There's no, this group, this group, this group, this group. Everyone kind of interacts with each other. There's a different feel around the team this year. And I think, last year was tough because you had the awkwardness of Kane and Taves, and this year now you're entering the season with all this excitement. Mm-hmm. And maybe not expectation to win, but expectation for exciting hockey. Yeah. And I think the whole team feels that.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was the tank. You were going into the season knowing it was going to be bad, and I think this year there's optimism. Connor Murphy talked with him a few days ago. Talked about wanting to come in, with a chip on your shoulder and wanting to prove people wrong again. Like the kind of mentality that they had last year. But he said, but the way he talked about it was that, after last season, you're coming in this season knowing that, you had a lot of unsuccessful things go on last season. So what you're proving wrong is not saying, oh, we're going to be cup contenders and we're going to, all this stuff that's unrealistic for this team. But to prove people wrong is change what went wrong last year. Build off of that. Make improvements from the things that made you unsuccessful last year. And I think, the team coming in last year was it had ended so poorly the year before. You made the DeBrincat trade, you made the Hagel trade, you made the Doc trade, all these things. And you knew coming in it's going to get worse. This year there's none of that. It's way less than it was last year. And the expectation, they're not big, but at least there's optimism that maybe you'll exceed it.
Yeah. And I think there hasn't been a performance from any kid, either forward or defenseman, that we've said, all right, maybe they're a little bit further away than we thought.
Yeah.
To me, everyone that had any sort of outside chance of making the team this year, so, eliminate your Ryder Ralstons, eliminate your guys like that, right? All of them look like they could do it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different starting next week. And we'll probably see a couple times where Wyatt Kaiser shows a little bit. The last game, he overskated a puck and it cost him a goal.
These young guys are going to have growing pains.
It's going to happen. But in terms of they're out there and they just can't, I have not seen that at all.
No. So. And it's been the preseason. It might change. Some tough performances might stack on top of each other in the regular season. But then I fully trust Luke Richardson to be able to recognize that and say, hey, Wyatt or Alex or whoever, let's take a night off. Let's watch the game from a bird's eye view. Let's try and give you a break.
Different from Quenneville too, and obviously two coaches trying to accomplish different things. But I think a lot of guys, when that would happen with Q, were like doghouse or there wasn't a lot of communication there.
Yeah.
I think with Luke, they're gonna know hey, you know what? Tough couple games. I think you would acknowledge that. Here's some film showing you things to work on, but just take tonight off, take a breather, look at it from the 300 level, and we'll get you back in soon. I think that can be a healthy thing, as opposed to something that's going to crush a kid.
Yeah, there's no error. There's no, I don't got time for this from Richardson.
Right.
As it was with Quenneville, I don't have time for these young kids that can't do what I need them to do. Richardson, he's got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference. Joe Quenneville was here to win Stanley Cups, not develop the next generation.
Sure. And he's right. To be fair, he's right.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But Luke Richardson, I think why we've mentioned a few times now since training camp has started that Luke Richardson is really excited and about the young kids, and if he had his way, would probably bring up more of them to start the year, because I think he's looking forward to that the teaching and learning process of he wants to have a hand in making a young player better. He has that teaching ability to him. He loves, the video sessions and the practice. He's out there and active in almost every single practice. He really enjoys that part of the game, and I think a lot of that comes from the time he spent in the AHL. He's not that far removed from being an AHL coach. So, yeah, there is no expectation to win right now. Development is the main focus, and he's embraced that. You look at Philadelphia, the Flyers, they're now in rebuild mode, and you got John Tortorella still behind the bench. I don't see how that's going to work. I don't even though
he knows though. Right?
But still, but is he just going to be able to turn off being John Tortorella
I don't think so.
And say, "Hey, kid, come here. Let me put my arm around you and calmly explain what I need done"? No, he's not going to stop. Being
that would make me feel worse if it was him. I'd be like, "Oh God, he's going to kill me."
Yeah,
he's not going to stop.
What's this plastic doing on the floor?
Yeah, he's not going to stop.
Don't bleed on the
being
carpet.
John Tortorella.
Don't bleed on the logo, kid.
Yeah.
So Richardson now, this is because he's still getting his feet wet. This is only his second year as an NHL head coach, so he's growing too. He's developing too. At the same time that the most important players that he'll have when this team is a playoff team are doing it too. They're all doing it together.
Yeah.
So when they get to that point where they're ready to compete, when they're a playoff team, hopefully a cup contender, they've kind of all gone through it together. And that's going to make these guys do that little bit extra for their coach. And maybe it changes when there's expectation. Maybe it changes when this team is better and Luke's got a few more years under his belt. But he's the right guy for this time. And I think he'll be the right guy for when they're ready to take that next step.
You know what's incredible is and I know we've probably mentioned this before, but I think it's worth re-mentioning. He experienced so much in his career. You play over 1,400 games, you're going to play a lot. But he can talk to every kind of player.
Yeah.
He can talk. He was a 7th overall pick in Toronto. So he can talk to the guys that are going to have the spotlight on him, and talk to the guys that are going to be, these high expectation players like a Kevin Korchinski. He can talk to the veterans who are in the locker room that are there maybe on the back nine of their career. And he can talk to the guys that don't do the things that get you the headlines, that don't get you the glamour, because he was that kind of defenseman. So I just think it's worth reiterating the way he can talk to players of all different kinds and knows how to kind of speak that language. And the fact that he can do it, having been a guy that played in the 80s and 90s, but still relate to a player in the 2010s, 2020s. Like it is really an impressive quality to have, and you can see why they hired him.
We've got a vote going for the 4-star of the night as voted by you, the people in the chat. Mackenzie Entwistle, Joey Anderson, and Lukas Reichel. Mackenzie Entwistle running away with it with 63% of the vote, but more time to vote. We'll get to that towards the end of the show.
Yeah. Hey, we got 103 votes on the poll, but only 61 likes. That math don't jive.
Yeah, we need more likes.
Get some more likes while you're there.
Also, while you're at it, we are getting very close to 10,000 followers on Twitter. We started the night about 600 away. We're now about 400 away.
Hey.
So good
friends.
progress made tonight, but let people know. And if you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, I know, it might be on its way out, but it's something that we rely on to spread the word because, and we rely on for work because it's where all the newsmakers are. So feel free to jump on our Twitter account and hit that follow button. We're at CHGO _Blackhawks. And another thing about this game,
We try and make the game fun.
we do.
We try.
We do. This was very reminiscent. You saw the lineup that the Hawks put out and the lineup that the Blues put out. And the Hawks had every excuse to come out and lose this game 7-0.
And it looked that way.
It sure as hell did.
In the first 10 minutes.
Yes, it did. And the Hawks kept fighting back and kept battling back. And I think very much like they played last season where they were in some games they had no business being in, that was very similar tonight. And it's good to see, these guys know that this is a let's get out of here and not be hurt kind of a game. But they didn't play that way. They went out and played hard. Kevin Korchinski played 24.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible. 23. Yeah. I think he led all skaters.
He did.
Yes, he did. For both teams.
Only guy over 20 minutes tonight.
Unreal. Yep. I mean, these guys are out here and they're playing hard. They're playing their asses off. And the last game against Minnesota, too. Mm-hmm. That looked like a regular season game.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. And I was listening to, I think it was 32 Thoughts, and they were talking about the Devils and how the Devils are just running people over in the preseason. And they were saying, like, that's the thing about a young team that's ready to win is these guys can't freaking wait to get the season rolling. So they treat the preseason the same way.
Yeah.
Like, now we get to come out and kick people's ass finally. We've been waiting all summer to do this. Not the same with the Hawks, but especially the guys that were here last year or even in the system last year, it's a different feel this year, and these guys are excited for the season to begin. Yeah. And I'm excited to see what they're going to look like in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think it's we talked about a lot over the summer, at the end of last season, and through development camp, through preseason, the opportunity and hope that the young players and new guys here and all this. New leadership and everyone getting their voices heard and letting all that organically grow. I think we've seen that. And I think the atmosphere in the locker room is different because you're not looking across the room at, a locker stall with 19 or 88 above it. And all of us in the media are clamored around there asking them, hey, what do you think about potentially being traded, and how do you feel about your injuries, and how are you feeling physically, and do you think about retirement and all that stuff? You're facing down the barrel of the Colorado Avalanche, who you're probably going to lose 5-1. Like, it's a much different atmosphere, and I think these new guys coming in, young guys coming in, the air in the locker room is there for them to breathe a little bit more, and I think it's just going to do hopefully. Just going to do wonders for this team as they go through some growing pains. It won't feel as daunting if, you have a couple losses in a row. Hopefully you don't have too many of those because you want to be throwing a bone every once in a while. But at least it won't be like, the season won't feel like a death march for these guys. It'll hopefully the optimism and expectations for the young guys to grow make it a little bit, more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think this team's going to be very excited in Pittsburgh, and you'll see it. Last year's opener in Colorado, I think we all were expecting it to be awful, and they were in it for a while. I believe it was 4 power play goals they gave up that night. They just couldn't. Every time they gave up a penalty, Arturi Lehkonen was there to stick it in their moon with a power play goal, and but they were competitive in that game. I think they were tied for much of the first period. The Pittsburgh game, I think there'll be some nerves out there a little bit, with a lot of these young guys and even the veterans on a new team.
Yeah.
But I think once you get a couple of shifts going, you get that first hit, you get that first shot on goal, then you're like, all right, it's hockey. This is what I do. This is what we're here for. Hopefully we get that Connor Bedard goal early.
That'd be nice.
I think
for everybody.
For everybody.
We all need it.
Yeah, just get it out of the way. We don't need 2 or 3 games of all the nonsense that's going to happen if he doesn't score, and all this mumbo crap and just mumbo crap. It's twice as bad as mumbo jumbo because it has crap in it, and
that would make it worse. Yes.
So but everybody, as you both have said, like the feeling is different this year, and it's going to translate on the ice. Where last year, this team tried so hard, but you knew if you made that mistake early in the third period, it was over. It was done. And now, I think they have enough talent to where, hey, if we give up a fluky goal early in the third period, we can still come back. This isn't over. Even though they didn't necessarily give up a lot of goals, they didn't give up in many games, but you just knew the talent.
Yeah, the talent.
They didn't have the horses to come back.
It wasn't going to happen because, you have, Jujhar Khaira and Joey Anderson and Boris Katchouk and Mackenzie Entwistle are your guys trying to get that game-tying goal.
All those guys played on the power play last year.
Yeah, now it's Taylor Hall and Connor Bedard. It's, Lukas Reichel and, Philip Kurashev trying to get you. You got Corey Perry and Nick Foligno on your fourth line with Jason Dickinson. That's a line that's going to score some goals this year.
Yeah.
So it's not a complete, wash if you give up. They're going to give up those goals. They're going to make their mistakes. They're going to have 3 rookie defensemen, maybe 4 on the ice, every night. And goaltending that's still questionable at best. So there are going to be those games where they make a mistake, it's going to kill them, but it's not going to be like the death sentence it was in many games last year.
Mm-hmm. You had a comment up from Jad, Steven. It says, in all honesty, I'm banking on Bedard shutting the doubters up in Pittsburgh. I want to be clear about something. There is no one on earth that actually doubts Connor Bedard. There are 31 fan bases hoping he sucks, and there are 31 fan bases that would give you any player in their, maybe 30 organizations in hockey that would give you any player off their roster for Connor Bedard.
Yeah, 100%.
So all the PHNX stuff about Logan Cooley, if Kyle Davidson called them tomorrow and said Bedard for Cooley, they would say yes before the sentence was finished.
Okay, but that wasn't a PHNX thing that they said. That came from the actual Coyotes.
They did some stuff too.
Sure, okay. Well,
they're just butthurt because their GM doesn't know how to tank right.
No, yeah. Well, you lean into it, but I don't fault them for that. But no, I mean,
that's what I'm saying though is they don't actually believe it.
No,
I think people want to believe that he's going to be a bust just because of the team that he's playing for.
Right. Well, look,
it's salt.
Also, anytime there's hype, people just immediately don't like that. Like LeBron James is a great example. All LeBron James did is go be the, at worst, 3rd best player of all time. And people still refuse to give him any credit.
He surpassed the hype that he had.
Right.
Whoever does that? No one.
No.
Mostly no one. in sports.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that for the last 7 years have hated Connor McDavid just for the reason that you were told Connor McDavid is really good.
Guess what?
Mostly people in Calgary.
And he's really good. And yeah, I get that Connor McDavid has zero personality and doesn't seem like a fun guy. Maybe he is, but he doesn't let that show on his, he's a hockey robot. He just wants to play hockey. So he doesn't have that personality that makes you go, even though you're not on my favorite team, I like you anyway because you seem like a good, fun guy I can go have a beer with,
Or a kale smoothie.
Sure, a Kale McCarr smoothie. But, so people, when you're told that something is good, a lot of people's natural reaction is, no, I don't like that. I want to like it organically. I don't want to be told I like this guy. Yeah. And that's what, and Connor Bedard, there is a ton of hype out there for him.
Yes.
And yes, I get it. Oh, you're showing a highlight of a preseason empty net goal. I understand why people would be turned off by that. Mm-hmm. I'd be rolling my eyes too if I didn't like the Blackhawks or if it was somebody else. Okay. And no one's going to remember any of this preseason nonsense starting Tuesday. So, yes, a goal on opening night on ESPN against, the Pittsburgh Penguins would be huge.
He's going to win the opening draw against Sidney Crosby.
Mark this.
Skate around him. He's going to take it himself, skate around him, and he's going to split the D of Carlson and Letang, and he's going to go right at Tristan Jarry, and he's going to point at him, and then he's going to fire his wrister, pop his bottle. He's going to chuck his Sherwood stick into the air, tear his Blackhawks jersey off, and double bird the entire crowd in Pittsburgh.
He's going to Ned Braden it.
Yeah, talk about a arriving in the NHL moment. That is exactly how the game is going to start on Tuesday. And if I'm wrong, oh well.
I believe in Bull Durham they call that announcing your presence with authority. That's what that is.
Yes,
that's what he will do.
Well, if you're going to Pittsburgh, make sure you represent and look like a Hawks fan. You know what I mean? You don't want to show up and be all sheepish and hiding under Groucho Marx nose and mustache. No. Get fitted out in the best sports gear and Hawks gear around from our friends at FOCO. They got hoodies, they got toques, they got T-shirts, they got pajama pants, everything with a Hawks logo you can imagine. They've got it. You want to deck out your man cave or your she shed, you can do that with signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. It's hockey season. It's football season. Get that cold weather gear to stay warm in the cold weather at FOCO.com and get some sweet stuff for your house like we got here on set that FOCO has donated to us, including my favorite, the Hayden Wisniewski Immaculate Inning bobblehead. It's back there. It's real. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in our description below for all non-presale items. Use that promo code CHGO for 10% off.
It's real and it's spectacular.
Yes.
You know what else is real and spectacular? Goose Island Beer. Goose Island is the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, and they have been Chicago's beer since before I was born in 1988.
Braggart.
They have a tremendous roster of beers from the 312, the golden cans of their wheat ale, to the full pocket pills, the everyday beer, what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking, to their entire family of Beer Hug IPAs, to the Green Line, to the Matilda, to the Sophie, to the Oktoberfest. I was naming beers, not just women. I was naming beers.
Yeah.
And
you hang out with a lot of old women.
Hey, those names are coming back, buddy.
And of course, you saw Luke Richardson passing out some cold ones to us in the media. The Blackhawks Pale Ale, that is returning to the shelves very soon from Goose Island. So what better way to ring in the Blackhawks season than with a Blackhawks Pale Ale? You can get all those beers and more ultra fresh brewery exclusives when you go to Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that's the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
You missed it. I know Steven's trying to find pictures of
You know exactly what I'm looking for.
I think it's up.
Trying to find the video of Luke.
I think it's up from there.
Looking for the Goose Island photos.
Keep going.
It was.
Oh, maybe they're not.
It was. It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was on Friday.
They got to be there somewhere.
It was Mario's tweet had it. I know that.
I put it on. I put it on the X machine. No, you're in the wrong spot.
Maybe it's in the production folder. as we produce on the air. There they are.
Aha!
Look at
We'll
me.
get that up in just a minute.
There they
All
are.
right. You got to use those for the little, like, as we pop up the graphics. Yeah, we got to
Yeah,
do
You
yeah.
know what? You should use one of those for the give us a like.
Oh, I didn't see
lower
that he was
third.
drinking it at the podium. I
He's
missed
sipping
that.
it. He's sipping it.
He took
Nice.
a sip.
All right, let's. I think it's time to call it. The matchup is over. Did anyone see 3 stars?
They were all blues.
Okay, well, screw them.
Yeah.
Our 4-star of the night is voted by you, the chat, is the orphan himself, Mackenzie Entwistle.
The
It's a shame his
NHL
parents
orphan.
aren't around to see after that unfortunate incident with a corn thresher.
This gets worse
Man.
every week.
It was
just
sad.
it's
brutal.
you got to be careful when you go to those pumpkin patches.
Yeah, you just got to stay away from the machinery.
Yeah, don't
There's
take
signs there for a reason.
don't take a wrong turn in the corn maze.
Yeah. Well, congrats to Mackenzie Entwistle, and I think more congrats are in order.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just saying,
You know,
somebody won.
are both of your wins shootout wins?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Both,
As Luke Richardson says, they don't put a picture of the goal in the score sheet.
well, you haven't even had any goals. Like
That's right. I am gritty.
Your 2 wins have come on tiebreakers because nobody else had a
It
point.
doesn't matter. I am
You're
fire
the-
and passion.
You're the soccer team that gets 3 draws but still advances out of the group
Damn
stage.
right. I am grit personified.
You're Uruguay.
So the preseason ends with Who's Your Hawk, with each of us picking up 2 wins. So we're gonna wipe the slate clean for the regular season. We're gonna do it every game.
Yes.
I-
We may tweak some rules.
Yeah. We'll have a meeting.
We'll have
on
a
the
more
plane.
official process. Well, you got to wear the helmet.
All right, I'll try.
Yeah, you got to put it on.
The padding's out.
It
It's
should
good.
fit. The padding is out. We've
padding
also
is out.
added
We've added a bunch of stickers.
many stickers. There's a burger on there. There's Goose Island. There's
There's the lunch lady.
The lunch lady.
Super fan.
Spider-Man for some reason.
It's
Up
the
with the
Spider-Man
glasses.
meme.
Oh yeah, that's,
Oh,
true.
there's like a nail stabbing my brain.
That's fine.
Hey, you don't need that.
That's all right. I'll take it.
Toughen up.
Ooh, it is weird.
Aren't you
It is-
grit personified?
The acoustics are strange when you put the
It
helmet
echoes.
on.
Yeah,
That's
it
very
echoes
weird.
in there.
Yep. Well, I'll
Well,
take
you
the
won.
win, man. I'm happy.
How did you win, Greg or Jay?
I had
I
Colton
didn't.
Dock, and he did stuff.
What did he do?
He had,
Well,
He was +1
Yep.
with 2 hits,
Yep.
1 shot on goal, and did we count blocks?
yes.
Did he have any blocks? My box score doesn't have
I don't
blocks.
think
He did not, but he
Okay,
should. He
so
also,
he had four tiebreaker points.
in fairness, should have had an assist.
This should have, would have, could have. It's not on the score
He got
sheet.
screwed
I
by
don't
the
think
St.
it was a
Louis
shot
score.
on goal.
If it was in Chicago, it would have been an assist.
Oh, he
Right
made
on.
it. He made probably the best play of the guys that we all picked. So.
And he got hit in the nuts with a puck.
Yes, he did.
Not as bad as the photographer got hit in the nuts with the football in Wisconsin today.
No, that was
Hans Molman.
that was
Man getting hit by a football.
that was
Pew.
rough.
right in the,
the greatest sound effect in TV history.
right with the point. So bad. There is, I believe, there is a version of that you can find on social media. The kid today getting hit in the nuts, and they added that sound effect.
You
It's
have
out
to.
There. It's out there.
You
It's good
absolutely
stuff.
have to add it. It's how it works. It is the rules. Anytime someone gets doinked in the balls, look at that. Just right on demand.
Look
It's
at
ready
that.
to go. The
Look
Luke
at-
graphic.
Look at that.
That's what I'm talking
Wonderful.
about.
This is-
Now it's ready to
Producer,
go.
That is
producer
great.
Steven with
Yeah.
the
Hit
with
that
the
like
speed.
It was a very dainty sip from Luke, I will say, but I know he's
Like,
like,
he didn't want to get sauced up before getting.
yeah, he didn't want to hit the locker room and
Yeah,
the
he had-
post-practice workout smelling of beer.
He had cameras on him.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
as soon
You
as
know,
he got back down there,
Stone Cold.
it's the first beer he hasn't shotgunned in like 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, we
saw him at Tootsie's.
we said hi to Luke Richardson at the at Tootsie's in Nashville. He's not a dainty sipper.
Yes, he was enjoying himself. Not as much as other.
I was gonna say not as much
People-
as some of the other people.
There
that
were
are-
some other,
there were some other
coaches and GMs having a lot of
some
fun.
other employees that really had a good time there, but you had to go and see it for yourself.
Hey man, if you are the Hawks and you're in the draft, the Connor Bedard draft, you're gonna party like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then Pete DeBoer creepishly followed us
everywhere, Pete DeBoer.
Yeah,
Leave
we
us
saw
alone,
him
Pete
everywhere.
DeBoer. Creep.
It was weird.
All right. Speaking of creep, I want to take this helmet off. We're gonna talk to everybody on Monday. We have our season prediction show. It is
Wait, we're
going
not-
to be.
We're not done.
We're not
We need to
done.
name a preseason champion.
Oh, yeah, we have to do a preseason tiebreaker since we all have 2
How
wins.
much time do we have, Steven?
Oh, yeah, right.
As much as we need,
Oh,
Wonderful.
boy.
Damn it.
within reason.
Oh,
All right, can I
okay.
take this off? It's like warping my glasses.
Yeah, you can. Sure.
I can't see anything.
I want to address, Greg, your pick, Cole Gutman. Zeros across the board. 64% at the faceoff dot, though.
That's worth 5 points.
My pick, Andreas Athanasiou, zeros across the board. Didn't take a faceoff, so
I see.
19 minutes and 20 seconds of the least productive hockey that there could have been.
He didn't get hurt.
He didn't get hurt, so that's like 10 points, right?
I mean, I get 2 points for every one of those face-off wins, right? So technically I win.
I guess. Sure.
All right.
All right. So our super serious and scientific tiebreaker for the preseason. We're gonna play a little game. I don't know if Steven, if you wanna
Am I keeping tally
get
here?
you just want to get a stopwatch and just check it every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Okay. So we each get 5 seconds. We're gonna go one by one, and we'll go from Jay to Greg to me to
Back
Jay
to
to Greg
right.
to me.
Put the computer down so I
So
don't
on
get
and
blamed.
so forth. Yes, computers are down. We are going to name as many Blackhawks that have won a Stanley Cup in Chicago as we can until there is a
Now,
last
are we
man
sticking to
standing.
the modern dynasties so we don't have to go back and fact check?
Whoever you can name that has won a Stanley Cup in Blackhawks
As a member of
history.
the Blackhawks, right. So I got all those 1934 dudes.
Okay.
You guys are screwed. No,
Yeah.
I don't. I
We'll
don't
see.
screw any of them.
Who starts?
All right, you start since you won today.
I believe.
And once Steven's ready with the clock, we'll
Well, I think this first few we don't
I'm
have
ready.
the clock.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, I believe Jonathan Tays won a couple.
Yes. Patrick Kane.
Patrick Sharp,
Marion Hossa,
Duncan Keith.
Brent Seabrook,
Ben Eager,
going deep.
Nicholas Jarlson.
Johnny Oduya,
Colin Frazier,
Kimmo Timonen.
Corey Crawford,
Antti Niemi,
Scott Darling.
Dan Carcillo,
John Madden,
Brendan Saad.
Chris Versteeg,
Thomas Kopetsky,
Bobby Hull.
Stan Mikita.
Jordan Hendry,
Damn it, I was going to use
that's a
him.
good one.
Brian Campbell.
Brandon Bolig.
Victor Svedberg.
No.
He was on the Cup team.
Oh, I
Yes,
don't
he
know if he's got
was.
his name on the cup.
Victor,
He was on the ice when they won.
no,
No,
you-
name on the cup.
That's not the guy you're thinking of. Victor Svedberg was the 6'8".
That's what I'm thinking of.
No.
He was a Black Ace in 2015, but he doesn't have his name on the cup.
He didn't play in a game. That don't count.
Shenanigans.
Doesn't
All right,
have
you
his
two
name on
keep
the cup.
going.
All right.
Once again, I lose on a technicality.
I've lost track of who we said. So
You said that guy. I'm going to say Victor Stahlberg.
Ray Emery,
Brian Bickle.
Dave Bolin,
Michael Hanzus.
Brad Richards.
Marcus Kruger.
I lost.
Oh, you got to get one to win.
I got to get one to
5
win.
seconds is up.
Spaced.
Glenn Hall.
I
All
spaced.
right, fair enough. No one said Tavo.
Well,
No one said Antoine Vermette.
you went with Svedberg over
Yeah.
Tavo.
Why didn't you say it, Mr. Victor
Because I'm
Svedberg?
right. He was on the. I saw him hoist the cup,
That's meaning
But he doesn't have his name on it.
but he touched it.
So did trainers.
Did he get a
We didn't
ring?
Name any of those
So did
guys.
a bunch of random people.
How about he got a ring?
I bet you he didn't.
Troy Parchment won a cup.
But you didn't say him.
Whatever.
All right, congratulations,
All right,
Greg. Put
thank
the
you.
helmet on.
All right. Give me the helmet.
You hoist it.
You get your name on.
You
the
get to
cup.
hold the cup. I thought only cup
I've
winners
touched-
were allowed to touch the cup.
I've touched the Stanley Cup, so you should have said my name. There we go. I'm the preseason champ.
Congratulations.
Oh crap!
Suck it, losers. Oh, there is like a nail in
See,
this.
that's what the padding is there for.
I guess so. We got to remove a couple more screws.
Well,
All right.
I may look ridiculous, but I feel immaculate.
That's the
You're
look of-
rocking
That's
it.
the look of a champion. You know what we should do at the end of the year is spray paint it gold.
speaking of the
Too much like Notre Dame.
and the vapors will be getting us.
Well,
vapors.
Freaking
I got the
lightheaded.
vapors.
I'm not gonna spray paint it on the person wearing it.
Oh, you should.
Why not?
Like Mad Max,
Yeah.
just
no.
spray the silver paint right into his mouth.
Well,
That was fun.
officially concludes the preseason.
Thank
Thank
God.
God.
All right, now I can tell you we're back Monday with our preseason prediction shows. show. I'm gonna bet it's gonna be a long one because
It's
there's
a little.
lot
It's
to get
probably gonna
to.
be a little long.
It's gonna be a thick boy. That's for sure. So make sure you catch that. It's an early episode.
I think there might be some. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. There might be some spicy takes had on that show on Monday.
We might actually disagree on a show.
I'm so excited about Monday's show. We should sleep here all weekend and just do it early Monday morning.
I mean, the couch is a pull-out couch.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Sleep
All right,
a couple.
let's do it.
Sleep a couple of us comfortably. We don't even have to change clothes.
Our next post-game show will be from Pittsburgh.
That's
that
right.
I do know.
That is true.
And then we're going to fly home, and then we're going to do the post-game show for the Bruins game the next night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after that, since we had so much fun doing pregame show tonight, for the most part, all road games this year will have a pregame show.
That's going to be the plan. We need to confirm that 100%, but that seems to be the plan. Road games will have a pregame.
Yeah, it was fun tonight.
Should be fun. All right.
Looking forward
Steven,
to it.
thanks for all your hard work today. Appreciate that. We're back on Monday. We'll talk to you then on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.